Well, Antonio Brown woke up and chose chaos again yesterday for the fourth team and the umpteenth time. Most likely the last time, Michael Holley. Definitely the last time as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, because immediately after that game, Bruce Arians said that he is no longer a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and he said more today, which we'll get to in a moment. But, all I could think about, my mind immediately goes to movies. All I could think about watching Antonio Brown play to the crowd in New York was Russell Crowe as Maximus in Gladiator. Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Is this not why you're here? That's all I can think about, is because this guy is very much our creation, quite frankly. We'll unpack this story in a moment. But first,
that's interesting.
Here's
interesting.
Bruce Arians and Tom Brady.
Can you tell us what happened to Antonio Brown? Did he quit? I've never seen a guy leave a field like that. And is this the last strike for him?
He is no longer a Buck.
I think everybody should find, hopefully do what they can to help him in ways that he really needs it. And, we all love him. We care about him deeply. We want to see him be at his best. And, unfortunately, won't be with our team.
Can you fire a player if he won't go because he's injured?
I don't know that he was.
Did he say that he was, or was there a dispute about that?
No.
He just refused to go in, or can you tell us more about it?
Not really. I mean, what happened is pretty obvious what happened. So, he left the field and that was it.
I don't know about it being pretty obvious, but nonetheless, the first word is yours.
Yeah, I do. I'll start. But, Mike, I want to come back very quickly. I want to come back to your comment that Antonio Brown is our creation. You did say that, right? You did say he's a
collective
media creator. Okay.
Yes. No, not just media. But collective. Football culture.
Okay.
Sports culture. Yeah, collective.
Yeah, I mean, what stands out to me is Antonio Brown is such a talented individual that he is able to get chances, second and third and fourth and fifth chances that somebody with lesser talent wouldn't be able to get. And so
exactly.
in that sense, I guess in that sense, you're right. In that sense that, we have been guilty of talking out of all sides of our mouth, all sides of our mouths, all sides of our bodies. We say that, hey, you gotta be disciplined. You gotta be about the team. You gotta be selfless. And when somebody is not disciplined and somebody is not thoughtful and somebody is not thinking about other people, we make excuses for him. So Antonio Brown is a prime example of that because he is, I would say, in my lifetime, he is one of the 10 best receivers. I'll say 10. He's one of the 10 best wide receivers I've ever seen in my lifetime. Number one being
Talent-wise.
Jerry Rice.
Talent-wise.
Oh, well, production too. Not just Antonio Brown is not one of those, hey, he's so talented if he can ever put it all together. Yes, he did put it together. And if you look at it,
productive.
I'll say this. He is the best wide receiver that the Pittsburgh Steelers have ever had. And think about that. John Stallworth, Lynn Swann, Hines Ward. He's better than all those guys.
With that. I'm not. He's more,
I am.
More talented. More productive.
And productive.
But okay.
And productive.
All right.
Okay, but
I'm
maybe
not gonna
not.
argue. I'll argue when it's my turn. But go ahead.
But maybe not. It is your turn. It's your turn. It is.
No, I just don't want to derail it. I don't want to derail your train of thought. You know how we do, man. Come on, you got it.
Yeah, okay, but I would say he's not as team-oriented as those guys. Is that what you want to say? Sure,
that's a big part of
it. A big part of it.
It's a pretty big.
But I watched this yesterday. I did not. Sorry, Tom Brady. I felt no compassion for Antonio Brown. I didn't feel sorry for him. I didn't say, oh, this is sad. Oh, what a sad commentary for our culture, for our sport, for our country. None of that stuff. I was unsurprised and unbothered watching
Correct.
Antonio Brown melt down again in front of a studio audience, okay, a live studio audience there in New York. And I would say this, one of the stars of yesterday was Mike Evans. One of the stars from yesterday was Mike Evans. And I say that because
Who's had his own version of meltdowns.
I know, but let me help somebody out here. Let me help you. Watch what Mike Evans does. Like, there are a lot of people who have this guilt. I should have done more. I should have. Mike Evans is pleading with them right there. Don't do this.
Literally putting his arm around him.
Please don't do this.
Yeah.
But Antonio Brown had his mind made up, and you out there, you caretakers, you enablers, you people who want to social work everybody, want to save everybody. You can't save everybody. Sometimes Bruce Arians told Peter King. You don't want to be saved.
Don't save. You don't want to be saved.
Go ahead with that quote. Go ahead. Peter King, Bruce Arians told Peter King last night, he said he can't help himself. Quote, a simple quote, but so accurate. He can't help himself, and he won't accept help. And so Mike Evans did what you're supposed to do. I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to try to help you, but there's going to be a point where I can't do anything for you, and I'm going to walk away from the situation. So Mike Evans walked away from the situation and let Antonio Brown be the star, the solo star in this one-man show that fortunately is off Broadway and now off our screens, probably forever. Mike Evans did everything he can do. Tom Brady did everything he could do. Bruce Arians did everything he could do. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jason Light, Mike Evans, teammates behind the scenes, I'm sure, support staff did everything they could do. And it reaches a point where you just got to say, stop. Now, in my opinion, Tampa Bay was probably 2 or 3 stops too much. Mm-hmm. Once the Patriots let him go, that should have been the end of it. But fortunately, he's got a guardian angel named Thomas Edward Patrick Brady, and that's why he had another opportunity. And let me just say one more thing before I pass it to you, Mike. I am so disappointed in Tom Brady's take. I'm encouraged by one of Tom Brady's statements and disappointed by the other one. I'm encouraged that Brady says, hey, we all love him, and the relationships are bigger than football. They last longer than football. Good. I like that. What I don't like is this whole notion of compassion and, he's got things going on. Don't you dare do that. Don't you dare do that, because it does a disservice to those who have mental health issues, who have confronted those issues and are doing the damn thing, being professional, being selfless.
He ain't the only one on that sideline. He ain't the only one on that team. He ain't the only one in this league. He ain't the first, last, or the only person to be struggling, to be navigating some sort of issue. And they don't act like that.
And don't just throw that in there. Throw that in there, because it's as if, hey, if you have mental health issues, it really sets the movement back. That whole narrative.
It's insulting, and can I piggyback off of that if you don't mind? I'm glad you said that, because I felt the same way, and I feel the same way. That's not to say that he isn't struggling with something, but it's almost like, and I'm certainly not comparing it to, before anybody goes crazy, I'm not saying that what Antonio Brown did is akin to a mass shooting. But how many times, especially when it comes to white people, how many times does somebody commit an act of violence, whether it's a mass shooting or domestic violence, and we immediately go to, oh, well, they're mentally disturbed?
Right.
No. There are plenty of people who navigate various psychological and emotional issues who do not resort to certain behavior. Okay? Right. So that's not an excuse.
Amen.
That doesn't mean it's not a that doesn't mean, though, that it doesn't have something to do with this. But what's consistent throughout Antonio Brown's career is he's a me guy. And that's why I cringed when you said he's the best receiver the Steelers have ever had. When you say he's one of the 10 best receivers you've ever seen. There's a difference, Michael, between a Hall of Fame player and a dude that put up numbers. Antonio Brown put up numbers. He ain't a Hall of Fame player.
Ooh.
Okay? He's put up great numbers throughout his career. He's one of the
That's
most
tough.
talented individuals
That's tough.
to have ever walked on the football field.
Yeah.
But he is somebody who is a quitter. When things don't go his way, he quits. When he doesn't get his way, he quits. Now, that episode we saw yesterday could be an example of a cry for help. Somebody who needs help and who's not getting it. But I'm with you, Michael. I find it hard to believe that along the way, all this time, through Pittsburgh, Oakland, New England, and now Tampa, that people haven't tried to put their arms around him and give him the help that he needs. The problem is, and this is the ironic thing about Bruce Arians saying he can't help himself, it's not that Antonio Brown can't help himself, it's that y'all can't help yourselves. NFL teams can't help but be infatuated and enamored with his talent and his abilities on the field until it isn't sexual assault allegations. It isn't throwing furniture out of a condominium. It isn't domestic violence. It isn't threatening text messages. It's quitting mid-game that gets you fired. And the reason they got him fired is because...
And add one more. It's not a fake vaccination card.
It's not,
Throw that in there,
it's
too.
not the fake vaccination card. Thank you. And I'm sure we're forgetting other things along the way. But it is quitting mid-game that is the cardinal sin that gets you fired and gets you ostracized, probably, once he's released at 4 o'clock today, clears waivers, and becomes a free agent. That's probably the reason he's never going to play again, because football character, make no mistake, people. If you didn't know, now you know. When they talk about character in the NFL, they're not talking about what you do for the community. They're not talking about what kind of person you are. They're talking about what kind of husband or father or citizen you are. They're talking about, will you show up and play? Are you available? Because they can sell to the fans, and before the fans, they can sell to the rest of the organization. They can sell to the locker room a guy with the rap sheet that Antonio Brown has as it relates to all the people that he's encountered in his life off the field, so long as he is available and productive on the field. The minute Antonio Brown, for whatever reason, I'm coming back to this is really important, but for whatever reason, the minute Antonio Brown told Bruce Arians, I'm not going back in the game, he was of no use to him. Because you're here to play. And once you're not going to play, well, what good are you? You're not here because of the kind of person you are. Tom Brady is not being so magnanimous as to put his arm around Antonio Brown for any other reason but his hands. And so Tom Brady put his arm around Antonio Brown because of Antonio Brown's hands. Make no mistake about it. And once those hands weren't available, what use are you to him? But here's what we got to figure out, though, Michael, before we go too far in this conversation, before we go too far passing judgment on this situation. We still don't know exactly what precipitated what we saw. Because, and I know one person has no credibility. It does matter. It does matter.
Okay. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter.
Here's why it matters.
Okay, but go ahead.
That was what your face said. Your facial expression said, what does it matter? That's what your facial expression said.
Yeah.
If
It's probably
Antonio
like,
Brown,
there's no excuse, but go ahead.
Well, I think let's separate. Well, I think we could separate it. We could separate. You know how plays are broken down in stages. There's what happens at the snap, what happens at the line of scrimmage, what happens at secondary. Okay.
Yeah.
We can separate him taking off his shirt and throwing his stuff in the stands, and running into the tunnel, calling an Uber, talking about his Netflix show in the back seat of an Uber, dropping an album online. We could separate the aftermath from what incited the situation. What incited the situation remains in question, because, and I thought it was spin initially. Antonio Brown, through reports, I believe it was Ian Rappaport, said that it was his ankle injury and that he didn't want to go back in the game because of his ankle injury. Okay? Which, for the record, he did not practice with Thursday or Friday. Okay? Arians, we just heard a moment ago, said he didn't tell me he was hurt. This is a he said situation. Okay? And more than one thing can be true. If he was hurt and he wouldn't go back in the game because he was hurt, and Arians tried to force him back in the game and then fired him because he wouldn't go back in the game, it looks a little bit different. But in the grand scheme of things, though, Michael, and this is where I think you and I agree. I know you disagree with, I'm laying out the facts because I think no matter what, we got to be fair.
Yeah.
But where
All
you
right.
and I do agree is that given Antonio Brown's track record, it feels like the ankle injury was a convenient explanation and excuse for something else. As in, there was some disagreement and he was conveniently hurt at that point. There was something that triggered him, and then he was conveniently hurt. And the other thing I'll say before I pass it back to you is this.
Yeah.
This relationship was doomed to fail. You know how when you get married or you get into a relationship, it's got to be on solid ground? You got to have the right foundation, a firm foundation? Look, man, this ain't the first time somebody has refused to go in a game. This ain't the first time coaches and receivers have gotten into it on the sideline. For it to escalate this quickly, for it to go from 0 to 100 this quick, it was almost as though Arians was never really on board with bringing him back again. Despite him saying he doesn't give a shit what anybody cares or anybody says outside the team,
Right.
it almost feels like he had taken one for the team with this guy. Because remember, he said at the beginning, he's not a fit here. Because he knew him from Pittsburgh. He's not a fit here. Then he says he screws up one time and he's out. Well, he screws up with the vaccine card. Then there's the whole portion of the show where, oh, well, it's still up in the air whichever way this could go. I would love to know what those conversations were behind the scenes. And whether it was Jason Light and Tom Brady over here saying, look, dude, league suspended him. I got him. Hey, Bruce, you know I got him under control. I got him. Don't worry about it. Bruce is like, my name's Paul, that's between y'all. My name's Bennett, I ain't it.
Yeah.
And the first time Antonio Brown looked at him the wrong way on Sunday, get up out of here. Or the first time they didn't see eye to eye, he got him up out of here, which Antonio Brown then did what Antonio Brown does, which is take it too far.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.